Yeah, that's so well said. I know that I became aware of my empathic nature when I started this podcast, which was back in 2020 now. And I realized that understanding energy and also understanding how I connect to energy has been a complete game changer. I mean, I was talking to someone on the phone the other day and they swallowed a fly. And then I started choking as well. And then they said, did you swallow a fly too? And I said, no, it's because I'm an empath that I picked up on how, and so number one, it was a real lesson to me to really start to be able to understand that I don't have to pick up all of that stuff, learn a little bit how to tone it down, but also notice when it's happening.
hmm That's so huge. And I used to
Yeah.
just think I was like I wanted attention my whole life because someone would be sick and then I would feel sick. And I'm like, oh, I'm just like an attention seeker. I must be. But really,
Yeah.
is that we can pick up energy, especially as empaths, so easily that there's no really line between what's me and what's someone else. And so if you're not aware that you're an empathic person, meaning you feel energy of others within your own body and you think it's your own, it can really lead you to feeling dysregulated all the time. And something just as simple as like somebody swallowing a fly, you're talking to them. Why would you have that feeling inside of your throat? Like that's insane. But I've
Yeah.
had experiences like that. And now I look back and I go, wow, like how many people are walking around like right now feeling the energy of everyone else and are feeling completely out of control and unaware of
Yeah.
how they actually receive energy. And so something as simple as, well, it's not really simple, but as doing readings and getting into a space with other people, it opens that eye, it opens that perspective and allows you to start going in deeper. And then it's like, well, how do I make it so that that's not running my life where I'm not constantly absorbing everyone else's energy?
Yeah, and that's exactly right. And I think one of the things we also forget is how draining it is, especially when you don't know what's happening. And even when you do know what's happening, you kind of, I don't know about you, but I tend to avoid, even now, sort of sometimes going to the mall. Sometimes I go, oh, it's too much effort. Clear and
Yes.
cleanse later. It's like takes 5 seconds, literally. But my mind sometimes goes, oh, I know it's going to be a draining experience. Do you kind of set up a bit of a shield around yourself, a little bit of a cloak of protection? How do you kind of navigate that? Because we are powerful beyond measure and we just sort of forget. I mean, even when I'm saying that out loud, I kind of cringe at the fact that I do sometimes think that way because I know I have the capacity to be able to tone it down or,
Mhm.
bring my own energy for up closer to myself.
So, what I first started off with was the cloaking around me, but I no longer really do that. As I've continued to move on, I have more adopted the thought of bringing in my higher self. So, imagining my higher self coming in that light beam from the
Mm.
top of my head and filling up my body from the inside out and pushing that out to the edge of my aura. Because if I'm embodied within my own energy, then I don't have to worry about having those holes or that ability for other energy to seep or seek in. So, protection is more like how embodied am I right now? How present am I right now? I notice when I'm not embodied, when I'm not present, when I haven't connected in on a conscious level of running my own energy, then I'm much more susceptible to holding the energy of others, especially if I go like to the mall or I'm around somebody who's sick or my children are having a bad day. So it's for me, it's more about anchoring in my own light, pushing it outwards. And then if I'm feeling like overly sensitive, it would be at that point calling in my guardian angel and just imagining I have another buffer of light around me.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. And I guess it all comes down to intention and awareness that this is something that is important to do because, then you could feel like you swallowed a fly when you haven't, or you feel drained when, there's no
Yeah.
reason to have been feeling like that. Yeah.
Yeah, like, I don't know if I told the story last time of when I had felt like I was having a heart attack, um, I don't know if I talked about that, but there's a lady across the
I don't
street
think
who
so.
actually was having a cardiac event. But I started to feel like in my home, I was having a heart attack. I called my mom. She was on her way over. I mean, I'm a nurse by background, so I knew all the signs. And while I was waiting for her to come get me to take me to the hospital, which really you never do that. You should just go and call 911. Like, don't wait for mom to pick you up. But I'm sitting
I
there
just
just
got to
looking
pick
out
up
my
some at the shop.
yeah. No, you time is of the essence. But I was just waiting, looking out the window for her car, and I saw an ambulance. And all of a sudden, all these fire trucks. I'm like, what's going on? My mom called 911. Oh no, like this is so embarrassing. But they actually went across the street and brought her out in a stretcher. She was holding her heart. And as she was driven away, my chest pain went away. And I went, whoa, like that is such a clear sign of, especially if somebody's in a traumatic event or something's happening and someone else's energy is really heightened, then that's really easy for us to pick up. And so that's an extreme example. But if
Oh, so
not,
good.
you would think that it's you all the time.
Mhm.